You wake up in the morning, you're failing. So you blame the president, you blame Congress, you blame Greece. And you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror and you're not failing because it's the other guy's fault. But if you looked in the mirror and said, I'm failing because of me, you wouldn't like it. And I believe the common denominator of failure in any business is excuses.
Take full responsibility for what happens to you. It's the day you know you've passed from childhood to adulthood. The day you accept full responsibility.
In the worst economic environment, there were people making a lot of money, weren't there? Somebody's making money, so the excuse is bull. So wake up in the morning and own your failure. You won't like it, and then you'll change it. So in short, if you own your failure, you'll own your success. And I find that in any business, always the common denominator of failure is excuses. You don't want to be a failure, do you? If you can't blame anybody but yourself, you're going to change. You're going to fight it out. That's the deal.
Learn to reap in the fall without apology if you do well, and without complaint if you don't. I used to have this funny list called Reasons for Not Looking Good. I used to blame taxes. Look what you got left after they take everything. Prices, that one's easy, right? You walk into the supermarket with $20, come out with a little half bag. I blame my negative relatives. They were always putting me down. That's a pretty good list for not doing well, isn't it? I thought it was good. Mr. Schoaf is very kind, but he was also very blunt. One day, with sort of a curious look on his face, he said, Jim, how come you haven't done well up until now? This list I just gave you, I put that on him. When I finished, he said, Mr. Rohn, big problem with your list. You ain't on it.
The year was 1980, was just coming up over the hill when I came up over the crest, and there was a terrible car wreck. Pulled over to the side of the road and ran over to a victim who was slumped over in the seat. The man was bleeding, his head was against the steering wheel. I said, do you want me to call the police? And he turned his head, said, no, call an ambulance. I knew when I asked him, do you want me to call the police? I knew I had said something foolish. I did not realize that to a person who is bleeding on the side of the road, it doesn't matter who was at fault. I called the police. He wasn't concerned about who would get a ticket or who was responsible for the accident. But when the injury is severe enough, no one cares really about who is to blame. They want somebody who is solution-oriented, and I didn't understand, but I can still see him looking at me saying, no, call an ambulance. If you ended up where you ended up because of somebody else, then you can't fix where you are. They have to fix it. Isn't that a lot of power to give to somebody else?
Let me introduce you to the concept of success. If you do tomorrow what you did today, you will get tomorrow what you got today. The average American makes between 3 and 5% more each year. So it takes you 20 years to double your income. That's the mediocrity that we're stuck in life. And then you meet people who have the uncanny ability to double their income in a year. The ones that beat the system, the ones that conquer it. The difference between them and the ones that don't do that is that they wake up in the morning and they think differently.
Two men wake up one morning, there's a rainstorm on. One of them looks out his window, sees the rainstorm, and he says, wow, what a storm. With weather like this, they can't expect you to go out and make sales. He stays home. The other guy looks out his window, sees the same storm, says, wow, what a storm. What a great day to go out and make sales. Most everybody will probably be home, especially the salesman.
You want a bigger car? How about a nice house in Tahiti? We all want better things, don't we? If you do the same thing tomorrow that you did today, you're stuck. And it doesn't change.